I want to talk with you about really one very important thing today. One very important message I want to get across here. Happy, profitable people. That's it. That's the key ingredient to a successful franchise investment or a successful business investment as a whole. Happy, profitable people. We're going to talk about what it takes to make happy, profitable people. We're going to talk about all the different aspects you have to look at when you're evaluating different business opportunities. And I'm going to share with you the 8 steps that we've used just over 200 times now to help people find the right business investments for them. As Alex said, my company's Marathon Realty. I also own another company called Mr. Franchise, which is a franchise incubator company that takes ownership in a number of greenfield opportunity brands. So what we're going to be talking about today is finding that right investment for you. Because ultimately, I imagine you all want to be happy, profitable people. Say it with me. Happy, profitable people. Thank you. Is that the goal? Do we all agree on that being the goal? Anybody who doesn't have that goal in mind, please put your hand up. Good. Okay. That is the ultimate goal. And we're all looking for growth. We're all looking for an opportunity to grow our businesses, a chance for us to take our businesses to the next level, a chance for us to take our careers to the next level. And for lack of a better term, we've all come to a fork in the road. And when Yogi Berra said, when you come to the fork in the road, take it. And you will. You'll take it in one direction or another. And don't kid yourself, indecision is a decision. But where you are going to find your next step of growth, your next stage for growth, that's the question. That's what matters here, and that's what I think we've all come to hear about today. When we talk about franchising, a lot of people do this. A lot of people scratch their head, and they ask me, well, what's the best franchise to invest in? You know, which one is the absolute no-brainer, home run, I should put my money in it tomorrow? And the answer is, there is no one home run for everybody. It doesn't exist. Let me put it out there as a little experiment. How many people in this room want to own a Tim Hortons today? If I get you Tim Hortons tomorrow, you would buy one. Show of hands. If you want to own a Tim Hortons. Okay. How many people here, let me rephrase the question again, want to wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning for the next 2 years straight without a day off? Show of hands. Okay. One person left. And I'll ask the question one more way. How many people want to do that in Quebec City or the state of Kentucky? No hands left. Okay. I say this to illustrate a point. While Tim Hortons is an excellent franchise, it does come with certain lifestyle implications. McDonald's is an excellent franchise, and there are lifestyle implications. There are personality conflicts that can happen between yourself and the franchisor you're looking to invest with. It's about finding that fit for you. And just like your spouse, there is no one perfect solution. There is the person that you find eventually that you feel is right for you. And they aren't right for everybody. That would be ludicrous if your spouse was right for everybody, just like if your business was right for everybody. It would be ludicrous. Most of you up until today have been doing the equivalent of online dating for businesses. Is that a fair assessment? I mean, you've been going to websites, you've been looking at online profiles, you see that they've got these nice pictures, you hear their description, what they're all about, and now you're coming to a franchise show, which is almost like a beauty pageant, right? Franchisor puts their best sales rep out in the hallway with the biggest, brightest smile that they have, telling you the best information about the chain and what they're all about, and then you go through an engagement process of getting to know them, getting to learn more about them, and seeing if it's the right fit for you. And at some point during that time, you may choose to bow out from dating that franchise, or you may choose to continue until engagement, marriage, and hopefully a successful union, for lack of a better example. But really, don't kid yourself. If you're getting into franchising, you are at the fork in the road, you are looking at taking it, and you are getting married to the franchisor. It is a synergistic relationship. One doesn't exist without the other. If you're looking at investing in a franchise, they are providing you certain things in exchange for what you are paying them for. And you cannot exist without the franchisor if you're in the franchising industry. There's lots of independents out there as well that we do a lot of business with. And in those cases, you are married to the bank, the landlord, and your suppliers. But it is still a marriage. And it's a marriage of opportunity. You know, it's one where two people come together and are looking for that opportunity to succeed and are looking to take their business to the next level for whatever reason. And everybody has different reasons for investing in a franchise. Some people are young and ambitious. Some people are, have realized they've come to a point in their career where their industry may be changing. We're dealing with a few people right now that come to us from the IT industry, and one of them happens to be in an industry where he owns his own business, his own IT consulting company. And he said, my margins have declined in the last 2 years because everything's being outsourced to India. You know, and there's a lot of truth to that. If you owned a Blockbuster for 15 years, a Blockbuster Video, and thought that was going to be your long-term future, as soon as iTunes opened up their online store, you should have seen that there was a train heading in your direction instead of a light at the end of the tunnel. But we have to adapt because there is only one constant here. And that constant is change. Change is the only constant in business of any kind. It is the only constant is change. You know, even if you're owning a pizza company, pizza is pizza is pizza is pizza. No, there has to be new innovative ways of making it, new marketing, new programs, better cost of goods sold, a customer base that wants to be better serviced. Happy, profitable people. In this case, it's franchisees because we're talking at a franchise show. But really, our goal at Marathon Realty is simple. Happy, profitable people. It's our mission, it's our vision, it's our values. We try to negotiate for all stakeholders to make sure that everybody has the best positive outcome possible. A couple of fast facts for you because I do sit on the Canadian Franchise Association's Ontario Regional Council, so some CFA facts for you. The franchise industry in Canada represents over $100 billion in sales annually. That's just in Canada. Franchise businesses account for 40 cents of every dollar you spend in a retail store today. And there are over 78,000 franchises across Canada. 78,000 Canadians are business owners through franchising. That's not a small number in our country. That's a big number. And the Canadian Franchise Association membership is growing at a rate of 10% per year. Now that means that there are more people coming to Canada or within Canada that want to start franchising their business. We have a number of these in our incubator program. One of them is Glamigals. Very, very successful system. Insanely successful and does great things for young girls throughout the country in the way that we help build self-esteem programs and focus on inner beauty instead of outer beauty. Greenfield opportunities are great for certain people. If you're a risk taker, look at new and emerging franchise systems. You can get better breaks, there's better rates up front, there's more hand-holding in there for you than there would be in a larger, more established system maybe. Franchising directly employs over 1 million people in Canada today. 1 million jobs today have been created just by franchising. And every year, thousands of Canadians are joining franchise systems as business owners. So we're talking about chains. And a chain is as strong as its weakest link. A chain is as strong as its weakest link. So if a chain is as strong as its weakest link, is its weakest link a happy, profitable person? Probably not. Therefore, in any chain that you're looking at, and it's indicative of any business or any company you look at, if you have 100 people, you have about 20 of them that are overachievers, go-getters. You got about 60 to 70 that are happy with the status quo and to maintain, and you have about 10 to 15% that need to kind of exit every year and move on and find new challenges. That happens in every chain, in every company, in every group of 100. You'll find that statistically across the country. Being in a franchise is being in business for yourself, but not in business alone. Being in business for yourself, but not in business alone. And that part is key. A couple questions I'm going to ask you. There's a number of questions on our self-assessment that I'd like to take you through at a later date. But a couple of questions I'm going to ask you today that might help you determine if franchising or independent businesses are better for you. What's more important to you, being right or being happy? Think about this for a second. What's more important to you, being right or being happy? I asked my wife this question before we got married. She said, Sean, being right makes me very happy. Ask yourself this question. How many people here want to be right instead of happy? Show of hands. There's no right or wrong answer here. It's just a personality thing. And how many people here want to be happy? How many people choose happiness over right? Great. Just want to make sure you're all awake. That's great. Happiness means, in a lot of cases, investing in a franchise system because they have a proven track record of success. You're following that beaten path. Chances are of being happy in a franchise are greater than being happy as an independent business owner. Independent business owners are always right. You know what the definition of a successful independent entrepreneur is? The very definition of a successful independent entrepreneur is when their check clears the bank. Because that's when they know they were right and they had money in the account to pay the bills. A happy franchisee has checks to clear the bank, and because they have a proven track record of success, if they're in a cash crunch of some kind, they get coaching from other parties to help them get to a cash positive position. You know, it's amazing what can be accomplished when no one cares who gets the credit. In franchise systems, it's not about the head office, it's about the franchisees. It's about making them successful. If it's a great franchise system. Now, as I've said at the beginning, not all of these systems are created equal. Some franchisors are egomaniacs. No doubt about it. They believe royalty is not just a payment, it's actually a crown on their heads. Some franchisors are very collaborative and like to believe that their happy, profitable franchisees make their lives a better place. I know one franchisor who charges a $3,000 a month flat royalty in an industry that averages 5 to 6% royalties on $1.5 million sales. And all he charges is about a quarter of what everybody else charges. And I asked him, why does he do that? And he said, well, because I don't want to ever have to come to my office in the morning with a lineup of people, hat in hand, telling me they can't afford to pay the royalties. If I keep it to a quarter of what everybody else is paying, I know they can make money and I can make money and we all get to sleep at night. There is no right or wrong answer for that. It's just a matter of opinion. Another question, do you want to be successful? Do you? Yeah? How many people here want to be successful? Show of hands if you want to be successful. You are ready to be successful, you're ready to take that leap and be successful. Okay, now how many people here can tell me what success means to them? Can you give me a definition of success? Anybody? Yes?
Accomplishing your goal.
Accomplishing your goal. No? Don't know. Anybody else? Yes?
Financial independence.
Financial independence. And you know what's funny? Both those answers mean very different things to everybody in the room. What's that? Happy, profitable people. I like that one. You know, everybody's definition of success is different. Everybody's. My definition of financial freedom is different from someone else's. I was actually invited a couple nights ago to debate this. Is poverty a choice or a mental state or a financial state? I was asked to debate this at Social Venture Partners the other night. And the resolution was that it's clearly a mental state in a lot of cases because poverty in Canada is very different than poverty in India. Dramatically different. An impoverished person in Canada wouldn't survive 5 minutes being impoverished in India, chances are. It's all a matter of perspective. Defining success is important. You know, when you're 4 years old, success is not peeing in your pants. When you're 12, success is having friends. When you're 16, success is having your driver's license. When you're 20, success is having sex. When you're 30, success is having money. When you're 50, success is having lots of money. When you're 65, well, success is having sex. When you're 70, success is having your driver's license. When you're 80, success is having friends. Or 85, success is not peeing in your pants. How many people in this room have kids? Show of hands if you've got kids. Okay. Every priority in your life changed the second your first child was born, right? Every definition, every interpretation, everything about success changed that moment. Your definition of success will evolve in time. If you're looking for work-life balance, the restaurant industry is probably not the right place for you. If you're looking for late nights in a fun environment, the restaurant industry might be a great place for you. Our self-assessments that we're going to be going through our workshop on Monday night at the Monte Carlo Inn at 407 in great detail is a great starting point. Please feel free to fill out your name, phone, and email there, and we'll follow up with some more information and put you on our mailing list as well. We currently have over 100 brands in over 15 categories that we help put people into business for. We know business. We are in the business of business. We'd like to share with you that knowledge. There's no secrets to life. It's the results of hard work, preparation, and learning from failure. There are ways to do that as an independent owner, and there are ways to do that as a franchise owner. There's ways to do that in all aspects of life. If you take the time, you prepare, you put in the hard work, and you learn from failure. And it is sometimes about being patient. You know, the carpenter measures twice and cuts once for a reason. 8 steps. 8 steps to help you decide on whatever business it is you want to invest in. How do you determine those 8 steps? Well, step 1 is self-discovery. Financial and non-financial goals. What are your financial and non-financial goals? Ask yourself this question. Ask your spouse this question. Ask your family and friends what they think about your financial and non-financial goals. Sometimes they see things in us that we don't see anymore because we're so in the thick of it. On a financial basis, ask yourself this very important question. It's right on the questionnaire. If you want to, does everybody have a copy of the questionnaire, by the way? If you want to hold it up so I can see, no? If you're missing one, let me know. As is here and can get it out to you. On that questionnaire, it says, what's your unencumbered cash to invest? If you only have $150,000 in unencumbered cash to invest, you can't consider a $600,000 investment. If you have $150,000 in cash, don't consider a $650,000 investment. The banks may tell you we can lend up to $500,000. Don't take that money. That's expensive money. That money comes with interest. It comes with a monthly payment. It comes with penalties for missing it. And should you not make the payments, it comes with your home. Whatever your unencumbered cash is, take that number, multiply it by 2. That's it. That's the size of investment you need to start considering. So if you have $150,000 in cash, you are looking at a $300,000 investment. Anybody that tells you otherwise is blowing smoke. You will be undercapitalized. Anybody here not know what undercapitalized means? I have no problem explaining it. If it's on your mind, chances are it's someone else's. Just to explain in a little greater detail, undercapitalized then, for the people that aren't familiar with it, is not having enough money to pay the bills after you open the business. You ever see a restaurant open up in your area and 3 months later it closes? And you sit there wondering, wow, that was fast. They're only there 3 months. Chances are when they built their business plan and they opened up their store, they realized they didn't have enough money, but they thought, wow, this is such a great concept. It's going to be such a great business. The sales are going to be so huge at the beginning. There's no way we can fail. And 2 months in, the bills become too high. Undercapitalized is the same as being underwater. You could be 3 inches from the surface and you still can't breathe. Another thing on self-discovery, ask yourself a bit about that personality that you have and what it's going to be a great fit for. You know, really, where are you going to fit in on your personality? Are you a salesperson? Are you a marketing person? Are you an operations person? Do you like dealing with people? Do you see the opportunity or do you see the threat? Do you see the opportunity or do you see the threat? Bata Shoe Company hires 2 salespeople to go to the outback in Australia to sell shoes to the Aboriginals. They sent one east and they sent one west. They get a letter back 3 weeks later from the one they sent east. Bad news. Aboriginals don't wear shoes. There's no market here. I'm coming home. They get a letter back from the one they sent west. Great news. Aboriginals don't wear shoes. There's a huge market here. I'm staying forever. There will always be risk factors. There will always be economic factors. There will always be reasons not to start a business. The only reason to ever start a business is the moment you decide you are worth the investment. The moment you decide that you are ready to take that risk and that you are worth that investment. The franchise is just the vehicle to that success. The business is just the vehicle to that success. Whether you own a convenience store, a coffee shop, a hotel, or a restaurant, or an office service company, you are investing in one person, yourself, and your ability to run that business. After you do all of that self-discovery, all of that self-journey, and Monday night, by the way, we're going to get into that in great detail and give you some great questions to help you determine what works for you. We're going to ask you some questions you've probably not asked yourself before. Give you some perspectives on things you haven't seen before. Number 2 is focus on an industry and an area that makes sense. And start touring them. Focus on an industry and an area that makes sense. Make sure it's something you're passionate about. You know, there's a great Monty Python sketch. Anybody ever watched the TV show Monty Python? It was a great comedy troupe out of Britain, and they used to be very famous here in Canada. They did a great sketch once where they're running this employment program, and somebody comes in, he says, "I'd like to apply to be a lion tamer." So, okay, we'll fill out these assessments and we'll go through it and come back and tell you about your future career because you wanted to change careers. So he fills out all the assessments. The guy comes out. He says, "Sir, I've got great news for you. We've been through your assessment." "And I get to be a lion tamer?" "Well, sir, we've gone through your assessment. We've seen all of your skill sets. We understand who you are. We know exactly the career for you." "And I get to be a lion tamer?" "Sir, you are excellently and perfectly suited to be a chartered accountant." "But I'm already a chartered accountant." "Yes, well, that's a good thing, sir, because you've got a really good head start on it." Don't stray too far from what you know. Try to stay within the realm of comfort zone, at least. You'd be amazed how many people come up, and this happened a lot in the 90s when O'Toole's. Y'all remember a bar concept called O'Toole's? O'Toole's was really explosive as a bar concept, and the reason they were so explosive was they had a lot of their franchisees were ex-police officers who really wanted to be Sam Malone. Sam Malone was a famous character from a TV show called Cheers. And they all saw that as their future, but they were great police officers, not necessarily great bar owners. Don't stray too far from your skill set, your core competency, and what you know. Focus on an industry and area that makes sense. And on area, try to stay within a 30 to 45-minute drive of where you live. Commutes will kill you. Commutes will kill your passion for the business. It will kill your drive. It will kill your desire. It will kill time from your life that you don't get to spend with your loved ones, which is, God willing, why you're working so hard to begin with, is to spend more time with your loved ones. Make sure that something within a 30 to 45-minute drive where you live, and I guarantee if you live anywhere within the GTA, within a 30 to 45-minute drive where you live is a business for you in a brand, segment, and concept that makes sense. Once you actually get the concepts and you get a copy of their agreements and you get a better understanding of what it is that they have to offer, you've got to go through their legal agreements and their financial model. This is where you get an information package or disclosure document. It's your chance to now review the rules of engagement. Now you know the rules and obligations you're going to be following if you join this system. Make sure you understand them. Make sure it's not all legalese. You'd be amazed how many people take a franchise agreement, hand it to a lawyer, and say, bless it for me. And then they show up with a $250,000 check, sign an agreement that they've never read, get into a business they have no idea about, call 6 months later and say, what am I doing? I don't know. Because they're buying all the product and I'm paying them for it and I'm not making enough money. I think they're just selling me product. Now, as a rule at Marathon Realty, we make sure we go through this with you on a one-on-one basis. We cover every single clause, every paragraph, make sure you understand it completely. Because our goal is happy, profitable people. Simple. There are some forms that we ask people to fill out, such as working with a realtor, confidentiality agreement, buyer agency agreement. They're fairly standard contracts that say, we work for you. And as far as I know, we're the only company of our kind in Canada today that represents people that are looking exclusively to buy businesses, the majority of them being in the franchise industry. We don't do residential. We don't do anything but helping people buy the right business for them. Our 20 criteria checklist, if you take up that form, look on the back of it. On the back of it is a gift from me to you. It is 20 questions that you should ask every franchisor before you invest, or any business for that matter, before you invest. These 20 questions will not steer you wrong. Ask every person these 20 questions, and you will start getting answers to things you didn't know you needed answers for. Whether you use Marathon Realty or not, please use these 20 questions. They are critical. In our office, we have 9 interns now working with us all summer long that do nothing but side-by-side comparisons of these 20 questions so our clients get those answers very quickly. Financial model. On the 20 questions, it also comes down to financial model. We help build the financial models with you. We review the financial models. We compare them to industry averages. I'll give you an example. Someone wants to compare Shoeless Joe's, Fox and Fiddle, St. Louis, and Gabby's Bar and Grill. We'll give you the side-by-side comparisons of all of them, including the theoreticals on the sales numbers, the cost of goods sold, and what the averages can be expected to be at. So you can compare the profitability. You get all of that information. On your own, getting access to that information is very difficult. Step 4, advisor review of the legal agreements and financial model. Now, just because we help negotiate the contract, and just because we help review the financial model, we are not accountants. We are not lawyers. We are brokers. We work on your behalf to negotiate the best deal possible. You still need a lawyer. You still need an accountant to go ahead and prepare the documents for the banks, make sure the financial model is vetted by them as well. You still need a lawyer to vet the contract and make sure you're protected, just in case we miss something, because it can happen. We're not infallible. And the lawyer has a different job than we do. No matter what business you're looking at, make sure you have good professional advisors. And if you're investing in a franchise, make sure you have a franchise lawyer not a regular business lawyer, a franchise lawyer. Let me explain the difference, because there is a big difference here. A regular lawyer, when reviewing a franchise agreement, will come back to me with about 60 questions, comments, and concerns, 54 of which are never going to be addressed or changed. An existing established franchise lawyer will come back to me with 6 points that they want to negotiate on and 2 questions about items in the franchise agreements, because they know how this industry works and they're protecting the billable hours. Please be careful and mindful of that. On the accountant side, any accountant should be able to assess a business model. That's their job. That's what they're trained to do. Step 5. Up until this point, you now know yourself, you know your financial capability, you know the concept you want to focus on, you know the agreements you're going to be bound by. Now it's time to meet the spouse. Go on that first date with the franchisor. Sit down with them and do the gut check. Do I like this person? Do I get along with them? Do they seem reasonable? Are they a hard-nosed corporation that doesn't care about me because I'm a number? Or are they compassionate people that are out there to make sure that I'm successful? And by the way, nothing wrong with being a hard-nosed corporation that treats you like a number. McDonald's treats people like numbers all day, and they've done a phenomenal growth job as a result. They are the gold standard of franchising. They have airtight processes in place. One of our questions on here is how do you feel about following rules? Because if you don't like following rules, we won't recommend a very stringent franchise system. We'll recommend a more flexible one that gives you a little bit more room and leniency to manage your business. That being said, there's a cost with that. It means everybody has more room and leniency to run their business, and it might not be the best franchise system in the world as a result, but it's the one you're most comfortable in. Meeting the franchisor and being prepared for that meeting is important. Having reviewed these agreements in advance gets you ready for that meeting. And when you meet the franchisor, ask yourself about their leadership skills. Do you think you can follow this person's direction? Do you think that their leadership skills are exemplary, or something you can believe in? They're going to be looking for skills from you too, open-mindedness being one of them. Are you ready to learn? And do you believe that learning is a lifelong process? You know, as a franchise owner in particular, if you show up to a franchisor interview, the one thing you've got to be looking for is knowledge. For them to teach you their skill set, how they've done the proven track record of success, how they've accomplished that, and what you can learn from them. If you go into a franchisor interview with an open mind ready to learn, you're going to get along great. If you go into a franchisor interview telling them how you're going to run a better business than they've done it, they're going to laugh you out of the office. Because if you can do that, just do it. They don't want you in the system. Go ahead. Become our next best competitor. We'd love you to. We wish you nothing but success, is what they'll say. They're also looking for people that are team players. And as team players, everybody holds up a piece of that puzzle. Are you a team player? Do you like to work with others? Can you be gotten along with? Or are you a lone wolf? And that comes at the next step in the process, which is validation. Now, this happens in an independent business as much as it does in a franchise business. And it's 2 different ways of doing it. In a franchise business, let's say we're looking at Intelligent Office. We'll ask you to tell us which franchisees you want to meet. We'll give you a list of all the locations, and we'll set up the appointments for you so you can go out and meet with them. You should do this on your own also. We let you meet with anybody and as many as you like. We have one person right now who's buying the Liberty Village location that is meeting with 18 franchisees in Canada and then flying down to the States to meet with another 18 there before he makes the decision. Because they want to validate. Validate means asking them, are you happy? Are you profitable? Would you recommend it? Would you do it again? Would you recommend it to a friend? Do the numbers that I've been told add up? Is there an opportunity here for me to succeed? Does my personality seem like a fit for this industry? You ask them everything that's on your mind so that you feel 100% confident that that business can make sense for you. So validation is critical. Meeting the franchisees is critical. This is where you actually find out if it's established or not. And don't kid yourself. If they're miserable, they'll tell you. If they're happy, they'll tell you. Now, if they're miserable, ask yourself why they're miserable. If you go into a store that's a poor performer, and let's say it's a restaurant because it's an easy example to give, and you walk into that store and the bartender's miserable, and you go to the washroom and the washroom's filthy, and you sit down with the owner and, you know, he's got a torn t-shirt on and, you know, isn't wearing the hairnet when he's behind the counter, and he says, yeah, I'm not making any money here, I think you've pretty much understood why. Writing's on the wall. Person's doing a terrible job running their business. So qualify. Qualify and read into everything. Constantly read in between the lines when it comes to validation. That is such a critical part. For us, well, for you as investors of any franchise, it is the most important step of evaluating a business. If you're looking at an independent, we can set up tours with other independent business owners in the category that you're looking at so that you can meet with them and they will give you advice also. Why do they do that? Chances are we helped open that business. We have a great relationship with them and they do these things for us as a favor. Connecting you, networking you, this is also going to help you determine if this business system is right for you and the model works. And if there are, in fact, happy, profitable franchisees. Because if there aren't, don't bother. Don't bother investing in a system where there aren't happy, profitable franchisees. So they're not happy, they're drowning. And you don't want to be in that situation. Step 7, finance and pre-approval of site selection. So after you've met the franchisor and now you've also met with the franchisees, you've got to be pre-approved for financing. Make sure you've got enough money. Remember, it's 1-to-1. Whatever you have in cash, that's what you should get in financing. Anything more will undercapitalize you. And on site selection, we start looking at locations. Start looking at a variety of different opportunities for locations. Things that make sense, things that might not necessarily jump out at you. We also work very hard to set up meetings with you to go to see the Chamber of Commerce, the Economic Development Office, and the mayor in whatever community you're opening up in. Now, why would we do that? Well, that's taking the relationship to the whole next level. This is probably the 3 most important meetings you can have when looking at any business location, are those 3 meetings. Give an example. I'm actually up in Newmarket on Monday at 8:30 in the morning, meeting with the mayor, the chamber, and the Economic Development Office with 3 people that are opening up 3 different businesses in that area. And they were considering Yonge and Davis Drive, or they are considering Old Downtown Newmarket. Old Downtown Newmarket has a revitalization program going on right now, where they're giving subsidy money to help reinvigorate the neighborhood. Well, it's nice to have subsidy money, but sometimes when something's too good to be true, it probably is. So we want to find out, why is the subsidy money being given, how bad is the traffic down there, and how many other businesses are actually being revitalized down in this area, or are we going to be the only people at our own party? Yonge and Davis, another great intersection that we're considering for these businesses. However, there's also that light rail transit system, or those dedicated bus lanes that are going down the middle of Yonge and Davis all the way down to Richmond Hill to the bus stop at Yonge and Highway 7. How long is that road going to be under construction? Is it 6 months? Is it 1 year? Is it 3 years? Because up at Leslie and Highway 7, it's been 3 years. That would be a major impediment to traffic and hurt the business severely. We need to know these answers before we make these decisions. I'll tell you, the average real estate agent will not get you these answers. The landlord sure won't tell you. The franchisor, they don't even know to call these people in a lot of cases. This is where we go above and beyond for our clients to make sure we set you up to become happy, profitable people. Say it with me one more time. I love hearing it. Happy, profitable people. Thank you. Deposit. How much is our fee? Oh, it's the best part. I'll get to that in the end. Deposit agreement, typically for the franchise or the business, is held in our trust account along with the contract, and that is held by Marathon Realty. And step 8, and this is the last step before your actual agreement goes firm in any way, shape, or form, is called discovery days. Discovery days are critical for franchises and for existing businesses. If you're looking at an existing business, we're going to ask that you can actually work operationally in that business for at least a day before you can go ahead and own it. I have a discovery day going on right now for somebody from Ottawa for Glamigals. She showed up at 9 a.m. She's leaving at 9 p.m. 12 hours with about 18 birthday parties today that she's going to be working and servicing. And at the end of the day, she's either leaving doing one of 2 things. She's running out screaming like her hair's on fire, saying, I never want to see small children again. Or she's leaving going, oh my God, I'm in love. I can't wait to get started. That's a critical step. Not only for you, but for the franchisor, to make sure that it's a right fit. We also ask you to go in and meet with all the critical employees of that company, any vice presidents, senior management, or trainers, so that they know who you are and that they're comfortable bringing you on board. This is a large marriage of a family, and it has to be collaborative. And it comes down to this again. the greatest investment opportunity you have is staring back at you in the mirror every morning. Write this down, put it right next to your bathroom mirror. So when you wake up in the morning and you go to the washroom, you splash some water on your face, and you look up, you see this. Because I'll tell you, if you don't see the lion, the world will eat you alive. You've got to be king or queen of your jungle. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
Thank you. Understanding your legal obligations is important. Making sure you get that legal review is important. There are 3 laws when it comes to investing in a business in Canada that you have to understand. The Arthur Wishart Act, which governs franchising. The Bulk Sales Act, which is for the purchase and sale of a business. And the Real Estate Act, which governs your lease. Make sure you understand and know these acts. You have rights. Excellent rights. Canada, especially Ontario, has the most favorable rights for franchises in all of North America. Site-specific disclosure is the only disclosure. If a franchisor is giving you a generic universal disclosure document, tell them thanks, but no thanks. This isn't an appropriate document. You have to give me a site-specific disclosure document. What does that mean? If they give you generic disclosure, it's the franchise agreement, some information about head office, and a lot of piecemeal material. What they have to give you is the lease, the franchise agreement, the territory, the cost to build, everything. One bound document, one time, it's about this thick, sometimes comes in 2 volumes, and that's what you take to your lawyer to review. Otherwise, you'll be paying your lawyer 3 times for a review. And at the last second, the contract could change. You have 14 clear days, so 16 days total, to review this document before you make a decision. This is the cooling off period that you have. And then after you're open, you're entitled to something called right of fair dealing. And I am so passionate about this right, because this is what protects you. And not enough franchisees out there understand it and how to manage it. Right of fair dealing means the franchisor is obligated to deal fairly with you, regardless of what the contract might say. Give you an example. Some franchisors have commissaries. Commissaries are where you buy the product from. The product is then delivered to your store. That product has to be as good or better than the retail or price you may be able to get independently. So if you own a pizza shop and the mozzarella is cheaper at Pusateri's than it is from your franchisor, you're in trouble. Big trouble. And you are entitled to right of fair dealing. And you can ask the franchisor to lower that price and deal fairly with you. Nobody wants to rock the boat when they're in it, but I'll tell you, if you don't rock it when you're in it, you'll be drowned when it's down. Make sure you're getting value for the royalty, value for the ad fund, protected territories, any rebate issues are actually addressed, and that your quoted price is the actual investment price. No hidden costs should be in there. I know a restaurant chain that builds restaurants, I swear to God, in their quoted price does not include forks and knives and plates. It's like selling a car without the tires, right? And if you don't know that going in, if you don't have somebody negotiating on your behalf, how would you know? How would you know? Other than the fact that as soon as you start training, somebody shows up and says, we need $27,000 for your small wares opening package. And you're like, that was part of my purchase. But no, it wasn't, sir. It wasn't on the quoted list. Somebody's got to check that. Somebody's got to make sure you're getting it all included. Franchise lawyer, real estate lawyer, business plan writer, chartered accountant. These are the people and professionals you'll be engaging when visiting a business and choosing that best location. That's something that we specialize in at Marathon Realty, is making sure the business and location are the perfect fit for you. And we will impress this upon you the whole journey through. The number one reason people succeed in business. And we will tell it to you over and over and over and over again. Because there is only one number one reason people succeed in business, folks. And that is work. You got to work hard, you got to work smart, you got to work fast, and you got to work. Don't kid yourself. There is no business out there where you're opening the doors, hanging the shingle, and the money just starts rolling in. It doesn't happen. Even in some of our concepts that are taken off like crazy, if they do not receive a hard level and high level of work, they don't succeed. Persistence is the mother of all skills. It is that skill set that you need every single day. On Monday night, we're doing a much larger workshop that's going to take you through the forms that we gave out. Please fill out the forms, just the first 3 parts, your name, phone, and email. Add me on LinkedIn, follow me on Twitter, I'm on Facebook. You can find me anywhere you like, and we're happy to work with you at any point in time. I always like to end on a quote. Yesterday's history, tomorrow's a mystery, today's a gift, and that's why we call it the present. You all came here looking for that active daring do, that dare to be great situation. Now go do something with it. Thank you very much for your time, folks.